Hi everyone, my name is Kristin Ciliberto. I'm a contributor over on Film Fest Report and your host for today's exclusive interview with director Lily Weisberg and writer Michael Bloom. Their short film Rare Birds will be having its world premiere at the 2026 Tribeca Film Festival. This short stars Zoe Zeckler, Joseph R. Sakari, and Tony Matchett. In this short, 12-year-old Candace is hell-bent on getting her former camp counselor Jerry fired from his job at the local antique store so that he'll have more time to shoot hoops with her. It's a really cute and very fun short film that follows friendship. I really enjoyed it. I hope you all check it out at the film festival and hope it gets selected to play at more film festivals. I think you're all gonna like it. But to learn more about the film, let's cut over to the interview with Lily and Michael. Alrighty, thank you both for taking the time out of your busy schedules to talk to me. And right before Tribeca, I know it's going to be a very busy time for both of you. I loved Rare Birds. I loved checking out some really cool shorts. And this is definitely one of the ones that stood out to me this year. So I have to ask, why was it important for both of you to tell this story?
Yeah, well, I'll just first say thank you so much for having us. We're so happy to be here with you and thanks for taking the time to do this. And Mike, maybe you want to summarize the movie a little bit and then we can talk about where it came
Yeah,
from.
yeah. So Rare Birds is about a sort of rambunctious 12-year-old girl who's obsessed with her camp counselor. And during winter break, she goes to his job at the antique store to try and get him fired so that he'll play basketball with her again. So that was kind of like the premise of the movie. And yeah, Lily, do you want to talk about sort
Yeah,
of
it just
where we
sounds
started with all of it?
sounds kind of crazy when you say it, but um, yeah, the idea for the movie came from us wanting to work with the two main actors in the movie. Zoe Ziegler was in this amazing A24 movie called Janet Planet,
Mhm.
made by the playwright Annie Baker. And that movie really developed a cult following from many people, including us. And we really wanted to work with Zoe. And then Tony Mock, who's a friend of ours and is just this amazing actor. He's in Oh Mary on Broadway right now,
Right.
and has been in a ton of other things. And we made a film with him 2 years ago, and we wanted to work with him again. So we were sort of just trying to cook up some kind of situation that made sense to have these two actors in. They felt like they belonged in the same world together, and we were trying to figure out what that world was. And I love like those movies like Paper Moon where there's like or Alice in the Cities where there's like a little girl bossing around a
Yeah.
older boy. I That's a great subgenre.
She
Children
gives
bossing
big
around adults.
She gives very big boss energy.
Yes,
So that's how I felt.
definitely.
I know this is like your second time, a couple times you guys have collaborated on a couple of projects. Working Summer was one that actually did stick out to me. So if I have to ask, what is your collaboration process like?
Yeah, we made a film called short called Working Summer in 20 that came out in 2024 that was a similar division of labor. Mike wrote it and I directed it and he produced it. But it's, the roles are sort of blurred in many ways. Like Mike writes script drafts and then I give notes and then we rewrite and we kind of come up with the story together. And Mike and I, especially on Working Summer, talked so much about what the visuals of that movie would be. And like, it wasn't like I was just coming up with the shots. Like they were sort of baked into the script Mike was writing. So yeah, it's a very fluid process.
Basically the way that Lily and I work on a project is we have to sort of agree on all the broad stroke details of what the film is. And once we feel comfortable with like what the arcs of the characters are and what the whole arc of the film is, I'll sort of go away and write the first draft in one night, and then we just start passing it back and forth, Lily giving notes on each draft, um, until we're both sort of seeing the same movie together, and then we go from there.
Amazing. And I know you brought up Tony and Zoe, of course, and Joseph Sakari's in this. Everybody's so good in this film. What makes it so special to work with these actors, and how did you get them to say, yes, I know Tony, worked on Working at Summer. What was it like bringing him back on for this project?
That was so great. And actually he plays the same character in Working Summer that he does in Rare Birds. And that movie was starring my mom and the
Mm-hmm.
focus was sort of on her character, but Jerry was a side character who shows up in the movie. And there was like a joke that Mike wrote about how he was working in an antique store and got fired for breaking too many things.
Ah, okay.
And and we were just like, maybe that should be what it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was so great working with him again. And Zoe and Tony both are like they're so idiosyncratic, and they're so able to toe that line between humor and sorrow so well. Um, Zoe's so dry, Tony's such an amazing improviser. And then they both have this like amazing deep well of internality. And my favorite thing about directing is working with actors, and like it was just amazing to work with the two of them. And Joe also was so great to work with, and he's kind of a legend and has been in so many theater productions, so much television. And he was just perfect for that part. I mean, he felt like he was like lived his whole life in that antique store.
Hmm. And then I also have to ask, since this is set in an antique store, how important was it for finding the right antique store? Because antique stores are everywhere. Where
Yeah.
did you film it, and how was the location scouting like?
Yeah, Lily, maybe I could answer this one. But the scouting was really intensive, as you might imagine. One, to find the right antique store, but two, to find antique store owners who would be willing to let a short film crew take
Yeah.
over the store for a few days. And we found this after a very long months and months process of driving around upstate New York and Connecticut and sort of the tri-state area. We found this wonderful antique store called Bow Barn, um, upstate in New York, and there are these two incredible owners, Jody and Brian, who let us shoot there, even though they were warned that could potentially be a bad idea to have a short film crew come in. So that was essential just to the whole production of it all.
Nothing broke during that time, right? Besides the stuff that we see in the, what goes on in the story, right?
Nothing broke, but it was like I was not sleeping at night. I was like, of course we're gonna break something. It's like we have C-stands and lights and kids. Like it was just like, but somehow we did not break or lose anything. Um, and yeah, Jody and Brian who run Bow and Barn were so like amazing to us, and like really took care of us while we were there. And then the production design is, I mean, that's another thing to talk about, but it is such a beautiful store. And but also we had this production designer named Theo Webb who really like redesigned the store too.
Oh, okay.
And I really wanted it to feel like this cocoon, like this
Hmm.
cozy small town, like very lamplit, dark place that's like lush, that's beautiful, but also kind of feels like nobody's there. Nobody's ever gonna come there ever again.
Yeah.
Um, and he just designed the store in a way that like had that exact feeling that I was hoping for, which was like I never had that experience before of like having a production designer take those ideas and like make them physical like that. It was so amazing.
Right, right, right. Now, going into something that I was looking into in your director statement, you mentioned filmmakers like Ang Lee, Kelly Reichardt, and Luca Guadagnino as some of your big inspirations.
Yeah.
Why those filmmakers? And Michael, who are some of your filmmaker or writer uh, inspirations?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I guess sort of different answers for each of them, but to try to generalize, I guess I would say I really admire how all those directors work with actors, and the sort of collaborative process that exists between those directors and their actors, and also the way that the environments exist in those films. Like they're those are observational. Like I feel like some of their films are observational to varying degrees, but there really is this like feeling that the spaces that the actors are in, and that the movie is being shot is influencing the feeling of the movie. I think Luca Guadagnino is amazing at that. Call Me by Your Name is one of my favorite movies. Kelly Reichardt is
Hmm.
like so has this amazing ability to be observational, but and feel like she's at a distance, but also she is really controlling how you're seeing things in this like incredibly subtle way. Um, and Ang Lee, I would say the same in films like Brokeback Mountain. I really love that movie.
Yeah, I love Richard Linklater's probably my
Oh,
number
yeah.
one. And also Kelly Reichardt, I'm obsessed with. On this film specifically, I think for the first time, we really tried to look at other short filmmakers as inspirations because I feel like the short film is kind of its own form. And a lot of times we were reaching towards feature filmmakers who are making feature films.
Mhm.
So we watched a ton of short films to prepare for this in a way that maybe we hadn't. And we're just trying to be really cognizant of the short film form when we were writing this film and when we were making it.
Okay, amazing. Well, I also have to ask, I think this movie sounds like it's going to just be a short, but there plans to turn this into a feature or maybe create a movie where Jerry's at the center of a story and turn his life into a feature?
I think we probably should.
It's an idea.
I think we ought to. I mean, I hope we'll be working with all of those actors for forever. Um, and the idea wasn't that this movie is a proof of concept, but I feel Jerry there's more for Jerry.
Definitely so. And of course, this is premiering at Tribeca. What does it mean for both of you to have this movie shown at the festival this year?
Yeah, we work in New York and we live in New York, and all of our friends who we make movies with all live and work in New York together. So to sort of be having this movie premiere at the big one of the big New York festivals is like an amazing honor and feels like a beautiful full circle moment for the film. So it's just incredible.
Yeah, it's like it's such a dream come true. And I grew up in the city and I've been aware of and going to the festival for as long as I can remember. So it's just like it's kind of surreal. Um, and it's been so amazing also to be a part of it's the 25th
Yeah.
year of the festival. And it's just so cool to see like all the like there's so many ways that Tribeca supports filmmakers. Like there's the features, there's the shorts, there's the TV pilots, there's also like there's a works in progress block where they screen 10 minutes of films and connect people to producers and financiers and there's a pitch competition like there's so much that Tribeca does to support filmmakers and it's just such a special festival to be part of.